Well, I don't know what I feel. I'm a little numb right now with the whole thing, but to be able to be in that position is something you dream about, and you have to. The fact that I hit a couple shots earlier in the game gave me confidence, but that play is designed to open up the floor, and when Horace fumbled a little bit, the pass was open. You're just in the right spot at the right time and given the opportunity to knock it down.
Well, it's nothing that you guys haven't done before. I mean, you spot up when those people go to the basket. When Scotty and Michael go, somebody always fans out to the line.
Yeah, it's part of our offense in a lot of ways, especially when we run that open floor situation. But I was going to be camped out at that line, and you just don't know what's going to happen, what's going to transpire. You have to be ready to shoot it. But I got a great look at it. It was wide open. There wasn't anyone in my way. And I just kept my eye on the rim and tried to knock it in.
I talked to a lot of your teammates in there, Darrell Walker, guys like Trent Tucker, who never had the opportunity to win before. And, you've been in this game for a long time, too. And not that this is your last year. You got another year on your contract, and who knows beyond that. But man, what a way to finish things off.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's special about each one of these titles is that you have a different group of guys. Even though the core is the same. For example, this year, I'm happy for Eddie Neely, Trent, Darrell, Rodney McRae, all guys who've been in the league 10 years or longer and have not won a championship, and now they can say that they have and been a part of it. So each one carries its own meaning, and most definitely because of the different guys you have on the team.
Well, Phil, I might ask you about that, too. Some of the guys on your club that haven't had a taste of this before, the Tuckers and the Walkers and those guys.
Well, it's a wonderful thing for them, and Trent saved his best game for last. He was 4 for 4 tonight, and, all series long against Phoenix, things didn't work right for him. And, this is a team that let him go last year, the Phoenix Suns, and he sat out the year, finally ended up at San Antonio Spurs for just a third of the season. And he had a special feeling coming back, and it was sweet revenge for him to be able to go out and go 4 for 4. I must say a couple things about Pax's shot. First of all, there's nobody with bigger cojones than Pax to stand up and take it. When we came to that huddle and I said, look, we're going to run an open, we're going to do this situation out of the open. If the three's there, you guys want to go for it, cut them off at the pass. I don't care. But just get the best shot. Michael, if it's a backdoor for you, take it to the basket, and whatever else happens out there, remember, we have BJ and Pax in the three-point shot. Now, you got to imagine the bedlam going on here in the court. I could not hear these players. They could barely hear me. I had to stand in their ear and yell. It was impossible to hear, as noticeable by our fourth quarter offense.
Yeah, the offense was a little shaky there. In fact, 12 points, I think, is what you scored in that final period. And Michael scored every one of them, John, until that last shot. So I'm glad somebody chipped in.
Yeah, I don't think I wasn't sitting over there with a minute left thinking if we lose this game, all we're going to get asked the next 2 days is about how we went to Michael and relied on him totally that fourth quarter. So for that reason alone, I'm thrilled that this thing ended.
Well, you should be. And, what difference does it make how many points you scored in the fourth quarter anyway?
When you win it, it doesn't matter, and that's exactly the thing. And, at the end of the game, I had to have Pax in there at the game end because we knew, what he had given us over the past few years. And they had Ainge in their small lineup, and it just worked perfectly for us. And, it was fortunate for us that we played a great game all the way through three quarters, so we had that confidence.
Terrific finish here at America West Arena in Phoenix. Pax, we're going to cut you loose. I know you got a bus to catch. Hey, way to go, buddy. Congratulations, and we'll be talking to you back in Chicago. And Rich, we'll send it back to you for right now and come back to Phoenix in just a few minutes.
Okay, Dan, thank you very much. A brief break coming up. Before I throw it to a break, the Bulls were 0 for 9 there in the fourth quarter for a while. In fact, they didn't score for the first 6 minutes and 10 seconds of that fourth quarter before Michael finally scored. And, of course, the Bulls eventually won the game. So all's well that ends well. Back with more on No Bull right after this. And welcome back to No Bull. The Bulls about to get on a plane bound back for Chicago after their three-peat championship now in the books. The Bulls are home free. We have a graphic, though. One of the really keys to this game was the three-point shooting by the Bulls tonight. They were really rattling them in. There you see the three-point heroes. Michael Jordan in there. He had 3 in the early going. BJ came on strong with 4. John Paxson had a couple in the game, of course, including the game winner. And Trent Tucker. And, of course, those 10 three-pointer plays, an NBA Finals record. And what a time to get those three-pointers for the Chicago Bulls. They wrap up the championship. Back now to Phoenix, Arizona. Dan Roan standing by with a very happy coach and a well-deserved victory. We feel good for Phil Jackson. Dan, back to you.
Yeah, we're still toasting it back here, Rich, too. Things winding down a little bit in the arena, but the excitement's certainly not going to wear off for a while.
Well, this is for all the Chicago fans, Dan. It was just a wonderful run for us, and, regardless of whether we didn't win at home or not, we had great support from our people and great support from the fans at home. Being behind us, understanding that hey, this is not easy. It's 2 out of 3 at home. We thought, well, we'll come back, we'll win at home. It didn't happen for us, and yet we did it on the road.
Well, you guys and the Suns were alike in some respects, and one of them is that you didn't really play your best until you had to play your best. I think you guys eased back a little bit in some of those games back in Chicago.
Well, it's not just easing back. There's a lot of pressure on teams when they come home. It's a different kind of scenario. It's an arena in which you're expected to win, and so you go out and you play that expected to win type ball, and your shots are a little bit short. You may not have the same kind of energy because of what's going on. Your focus isn't just 14 or 12 ball players or whatever our group is that is the nucleus. It includes family and agents and relatives, and so things get clouded in this type of a scenario. And we had a great home playoff court record up until we lost the first double overtime or triple overtime game to the Phoenix Suns. And that was a game in which we went home at that night and we said, we're in trouble now. They came back in a game that depleted us. Our energy resources are gone. Now we've got to rejuvenate ourselves.
I thought you might be in the same boat tonight. You guys looked like you gave it pretty much all you had Friday night.
We did. We gave a great effort on Friday night, and we were depleted by the end of the game. I thought that Phoenix was in better shape playing on their away on our court because they were playing loose. They said, hey, well, we got to lose. We're 3-1, Yeah. We just go out here and we just play and throw it up, and they played a loose kind of ball. We played not to lose instead of to win, and that's a different style of ball. In other words, you're playing kind of defensively, and they beat us to the offensive boards. They beat us to loose balls, and as a consequence, the game was theirs.
Well, given all that, what kind of read did you have in your club before the game here tonight?
This team was very somber and very, I would say, focused before the game. I hate to use that word so often, but we came in, had a shoot around this morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. Well, that's 11 Chicago time, but still it's early. And we came in here and we said, shoot. Just go out in this court and shoot. Get a feel for this court, and it paid off for us in the three-point shots tonight. And get yourself on the free throw line and shoot. That didn't pay off for us as well. But the big thing is, we said, let's go open. Let's open this court up tonight, and let's not crowd it, and let's not destroy our spacing, which has helped or eliminated Michael's ability to post up and to score, eliminated the double teams that they could throw at us. Let's keep it open, and if we have three-point shots, let's spread them out and use it.
I know spacing was a problem there in the fourth quarter. It looked like Michael didn't have any room to operate down in the post when he got the basketball. And not only could you guys not score, you could barely get a shot off.
Well, not only that, and barely get a shot off. Well, we have 3 24-second violations, which, I don't wince so much about that in the last minute of the games. If you're ahead and you have a 6-point lead and you come down and you explore the offense and you look and make the defense have to play defense, that's not a bad turnover violation because they have to take the ball out of bounds. It's not a run-out type situation. But when it's in the middle of the quarter and you're trying to get something organized and you can't get organized, you have to feel like the team was disarrayed, and they were in disarray. And we had to go to a spacing kind of an offense at the end, get Michael back in the ball game so that we could get organized, and then finally in the last 3 minutes of that quarter we were able to start to score.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit more in a few minutes about what's to come with this basketball team and this Bulls franchise. Hopefully there's a lot more ahead for you guys, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But right now, back to Chicago and Rich King.
Okay, Dan, thanks a lot. Again, the parade set for 10 o'clock, or the celebration set for 10 o'clock at Grant Park at the Petrillo Bandshell coming up on Tuesday as Chicago toast the three-peaters. Back with more on Noble right after this. And welcome back to No Bull. Before we throw it back out to Dan and Phil out in Phoenix, Mayor Daley released a statement tonight congratulating the Chicago Bulls, saying they represent the best of Chicago and all citizens can learn a lesson from the Bulls' victory. Mayor Daley saying the team is a great example of perseverance and of hard work, and certainly deservedly so. The mark of integrity, 3 straight championships, and now back out to Phoenix, and once again, Dan Rowan and Phil Jackson.
Tell the days by far.
All right, Rich, thank you very much. And Mayor Daley's comments, a team of great ability and perseverance, I think that pretty much sums it up. Now, you got to do this again next year, which is, I know, the last thing you want to think about. But, I can imagine that after a while, I mean, your zeal for coaching might ebb just a little bit after having won this thing 3 times, but certainly next year is going to be a different kind of year for you. If Kukoc comes through, you're going to have a different player to coach. That may change the chemistry of this team, and that shapes up to be a pretty interesting year.
You know, you almost hate to talk about next year at this time, Dan, because you just revel in the fact that, you know, we've played 82 games in the regular season. Here we are, maybe 18 games into the playoffs before we finally win it. And it's just been such a wonderful season that you just want to throw all the things aside. But to conquer your question and to address it in its way, we have a great nucleus in this ball club, and we have to make some very critical decisions. There's no doubt about it. We have to find ourselves a center, and a young center that comes back. And Scott Williams has done a great job off the bench as a backup center. Will produce. Stacey King filling in behind Bill Cartwright. That's one of the problems. We have Tony Kukoc coming in, and hopefully we can sign him, and that's going to give us a great advantage to playing ball. But yet, we have to rejuvenate this club and do some things so that we have an opportunity to continue on. And, you talk about making history this year. We talk about next year as being a year that would just be icing on the cake, a la mode type year. And this is a ball club that's not going to sit back and not going to, take this all in perspective and say, well, we've done it now, we can relax and we can do this. Regular season, yes, there's some demise about the regular season, but when it comes to playoffs, this team is a playoff experienced team, and they're going to know how to play.
I know you're in a hurry. We started this show November 22nd right here in this building.
It's amazing, isn't it, that it started in this building. Dick Van Arsdale's our guest. We talk about how great the Suns had come on and their recuperation and their rejuvenation of their ball club. And here we are finishing out in these stands.
8 months later.
That's right. 3 seasons.
Hey, I know you got to go.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
Dan. Thanks very much.
It's been a pleasure all season, and we look forward to doing this again next year. Hopefully for as long, too.
That's right. And here's a little sign. We'll put this one away, okay?
Good job, Rich. Take it away. See you in a minute.
That's a great sign to rip up. Okay, congratulations, Phil. Have a nice flight back to Chicago. Back with the closing comment here on No Bull right after this.